Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So I've just actually watched the last race of our Cheltenham selections for the day. We ended with a couple of winners in Fortune, Demare and Calico. Much bigger prices than I thought they would be. Definitely a few horses to take out of those races. There will be another video coming later today and write-up about those, about all of the races. I'm going to do that going forward. We're going to do some reviews, looking at horses, where they might end up, who were interesting. I think I spotted something for the Greatwood Hurdle. I think I spotted something for a handicap hurdle at Haydock. Yeah, there's a few that are very interesting going forward. Anyway, let's move on to tomorrow. So you can't see the ratings because it's not Free Friday. If you're a premium member, obviously you'll be able to see the ratings. Free members, you can only see ratings like this. These aren't ratings, these are just horses in alphabetical order with a few stats visible for you. If you want the ratings, you need to upgrade to Premium or Pro. So there's a few selections for tomorrow, starting off in the 110 at Cheltenham, the Novices Handicap Chase. And there was two horses that I was quite interested in here, and they were the two Ian Donahue horses, Westaway and True Testimony. And I'm quite pleased with the price about the one we're going to go for. The price of the mare that we are going to select is True Testimony. Let's just check what price it currently is. I always load it up now so you can see that this is the current price, not a price that I've fabricated from hours ago, that I've waited for a gamble and I'm then trying to suggest that I'm now backing that horse, or that's the interesting one for me. True Testimony is currently available at 12 to 1, sorry. Comfortably available at 11s. You can definitely get 12s as well in a lot of places. So why do I like True Testimony? Well, I kind of feel that this horse might have been not laid out for this handicap, but this is the ideal trip, I feel, for True Testimony, who, to be fair to her, she ran a good race 3 runs ago behind Kilteely Park in a listed handicap chase, beating the likes of Zenta and Must Be Obeyed and Mamalson. I kind of feel they're better than what she's taking on here. That was in a listed handicap chase, not a novices handicap chase at all. She was pitched in quite deep on her chase handicap debut. Then she went for another feature handicap, the Pat Taff handicap chase at Punchestown. Okay, she was disappointing here, finishing 7th. Over 3 mile, probably, I feel that was too far at this point in her career over fences. That was back in May, and then recently they've given her a run over in a beginner's chase, a mare's beginner's chase, where she finished 3rd behind Jalila Moriviere and Ad Calum. I think that's how you say both of those names. She finished 3rd over 2 mile, or 2 mile 1. Again, not her trip. Her real trip and her best trip is 2.5 mile. She's back to that 2.5 mile trip. She's not that high in the handicap. She's only rated 127. Connor Stonewalsh takes 7 off. No, he doesn't. He takes 3 off. And Connor Stonewalsh and Ian Donahue actually have a really good record. I believe in their last 13 rides together, or bookings together, they've had 7 winners. Ian knows when to book Connor, and that is hugely eye-catching for me. The tongue ties on as well. I think there's plenty of positives about True Testimony for this race tomorrow, in what I think is an easier race than the last 2 handicaps she's been contesting. So yeah, I'm quite keen on a big run here from True Testimony. I think she's well overpriced at 12s. I would have her down here at 7s, maybe even 7s for sure. I think she's going to run a really nice race for us tomorrow. We move on to the 145, where I thought this Gordon Elliott horse was going to be far too short a price. I thought, it's going to be favourite. I thought it could be like 6 to 4 sort of price. Not really a backable price in a novice hurdle. Really surprised to see the current price about Paula Feel. 11 to 4. I thought it'd be shorter than that. I think this Paula Feel is going to prove to be this, not a world beater by any means. Not going to be a world beater for Gordon Elliott, but better than what he's taking on here. He's finished 5th in a Grade 2 bumper before, behind Florida Dreams, Blizzard of Oz, Bowens Park, etc. Finished 3rd in a maiden hurdle behind Antrim Coast and Mr. Pink, but went off 11 to 8 favourite that day. Then finished 3rd in another event over in Ireland, and I just think the Irish novices are better than the English novices. Now coming to England, having finally got off the mark in a maiden hurdle, last time out over 2 mile 5, goes up to 3 mile. I think that's key. I think they knew that this horse wanted further. Managed to get a whole season of novice hurdles and novice and maiden hurdles into the horse. Now gone and broken his maiden. Up in trip now. I think we're going to see a lot better this season from Paul Afil. But with that in mind, the fact that you can get 11 to 4, I was quite happy with that. I think Paul Afil is a bet here. We move on. I'm doing them a little bit quicker today. Moving on to the 3 mile 1 handicap chase. The Skeltons have just had 2 winners for us in Fortune de Mer and Calico, and to be honest, I actually think Country Mile was going to play a big part in that race behind Alnilam before making that mistake at the second last. Harry was slowly getting there on Country Mile. I think the Skeltons are actually trying. I know a lot of people were putting tweets out and messages out saying, oh, how many of them are going to be eye catchers? Well, they've actually gone and won a couple of races, so not as many as they think. I'm a massive fan of Ho Jolie Smoke. I think he's really progressive, and I think he's much better than what his current handicap mark is. Last time out, I think it was too far, and he was also out of the handicap. He was running off a mark of... What was he running off? A mark of 142, despite being rated 130. He was running off a £12. He was running from £12 out of the handicap. Was always going to find things tough. Back into a handicap proper. The previous run, when he beat Java Point at Sandown, I thought that was a very good effort. Goshen behind that, Excello. This is the right trip. I think this is the right course. I think as long as he doesn't bleed, which he has done before, I think he's going to run a really nice race here. The handicapper, bizarrely, dropped him from a mark of 130 down to 129 despite running from out of the handicap, so he never actually got to run off his handicap mark anyway. So he's only £2 higher than when winning at Sandown, and I think he's going to play a really big hand in this race over what I think is a suitable trip back into the handicap. And yeah, I think the Skeltons are trying to win the races at the moment. What price can we get about Ho Jolie Smoke? A nice one, 9 to 1 is available. As always, that's an outlier, 10 to 1, so we don't quote that price. You'll get plenty of people that are quoting this price and probably bigger prices for different horses. You know, they'll find Highland at 10 to 1 from 3 days ago and go, that's my selection for the race. You're like, well, it's not that price anymore, is he? So Ho Jolie Smoke, I'll probably back him tomorrow and next time, particularly if they end up back at Sandown, if they find a race for him at Sandown. But I do want to catch him just in case he is here to win the race tomorrow. What did he do at the beginning of last season? He went to Sandown and he finished second behind Resplendent Grey. Decent race though behind Resplendent Grey, who... Didn't he come out and win? Yeah, he did. He won the Bet365 Gold Cup at the end of the season. So a good race. Finishing second at the beginning of last season was no poor effort from Ho Jolie Smoke at all. A reproduction this year could well be good enough to win this race here. Moving on to the 255. Now this is actually the last race that I'm going to have a bet in, because the next 3 races I don't have angles for, I don't think. Let's just have a look. Give It To Me OJ is too short, and I don't have anything. You can see it's selected in either of the last two races at Cheltenham. So I'm actually going to have 2 selections in the 255. The first one is Long Draw for the in-form Ollie Murphy and Sean Bowen team. Sean's had another winner today at Cheltenham on Aunalam. Also an eye-catching effort on Sir Galahad. Look out for that in our review video. Long Draw really progressive, still improving 6-year-old. Beat Gal Road in a handicap here in December of 2024. Then came back in April 2025 and beat Harbour Lake. So he's actually won his last 2 races at Cheltenham. He'd previously finished second behind Hamsian, the very well handicapped Hamsian, who was getting £8 off long draw that day in November of 2024. Yes, he's been beaten away from Cheltenham. He finished 4th in a Pertemps qualifier. I feel they were getting him ready for the Cheltenham Festival and he never made it. And then went to Haydock for the Pertemps, another Pertemps long distance handicap hurdle. He finished 3rd. It was a good effort though. Kind of reminds me of the Wall Park, who actually won this race last year. The Wall Park won it and ended up finishing 3rd in the Stayers at the end of the season. That's what I think we could see with this one here. Long draw, only a 6-year-old. I think there's still more to come. Wouldn't surprise him if he could win this handicap and end up in graded races, potentially back in November or December, back at Cheltenham, and then end up in the Stayers Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival in March. So long draw is definitely one of my selections, and we can currently get, let's have a look. Long draw is currently available at 13-2. Second horse that I am going to have a bet on is going to be a bit of a bigger price. Well, it's definitely a bigger price. Quite a long way down. Look at this, down here at 22-1. And that is Patriotic, who, this is going to be harsh. If Isabel wasn't on, I'd be even more confident. If they had a Sean Bowen, a Sam Twiston-Davis, Harry Skelton, a Jack Kennedy, a jockey like that on, I do think Isabel is slightly letting the horse down a little bit. I don't think she's the strongest. She can't keep him involved early enough. But then he always finishes his races off really well. Does have a win to his name. He won 3 runs ago when beating Cam Sinas at Doncaster. Then went to Uttoxeter and probably ran his best race of the season when finishing 3rd in the Jennings Bet Handicap Hurdle behind Red Risk and Joyo Machan. Nothing wrong with that as a performance. A really competitive handicap hurdle that was. Disappointed a little bit, or definitely disappointed at Haydock in the Pertemps Network long distance handicap hurdle when finishing a well-beaten 12th. Only went off 8-1 that day. I kind of feel that they know the horse has ability. And I do think he has ability. I think he's got a lot more ability than his handicap mark. What is he currently rated now? He's rated 125. I think he's better than that. Just needs to put his best foot forward in the middle part of the race. If he can, and if they've sorted something out over the summer, got him, concentrating throughout the race instead of just at the finish where he seems to fly, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Patriotic came out here and ran a really big race. If he's there turning into the straight, he's in the top 5 or 6, I think he'll be one of the best finishers in the race. And Patriotic is definitely one that I'm willing to take a chance on at that big price of 22-1. Again, he's one that I'll probably be looking out for going forward as well. Last season he got his win at Doncaster. Maybe he needs a slightly easier race than what he's running in tomorrow. But it wouldn't surprise me, as I said, if he came back out and ran a really nice race here. There's also a race at Aintree in December on Boxing Day that he could go back for. So yeah, they are my selections. As I've said, there's nothing in the last 3 races. I don't have any interest in the last 2. Give It To Me OJ was interesting, but he's surely a ridiculously short price, so I won't be backing him. So a quick recap. We like True Testimony for Ian Donahue and Connor Stone Walsh. They've got a good record together. True Testimony, this is her right trip. I think she got a nice prep run in a beginner's chase recently, and she's still able to run in a novice handicap chase because she's yet to win over fences. Paula Feel in the novices hurdle over this sort of trip. That's where we're going to see more this season from him, I'm sure. Still ran some nice races over what probably were 2 shorter trips last season. Ho Jolie Smoke, if he doesn't bleed and if the Skeltons are actually going for it. They have had 2 winners today, so hopefully they are actually going for it. And finally, Long Draw, the horse I think will end up in the Stayers Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. He's that progressive and going to be that highly rated by the end of the season. And Patriotic, if he keeps up and keeps involved throughout the middle of the race, I think he'll be finishing best of all. And if he's there, he's definitely ahead of his handicap mark.